Hello guys, thanks for clicking on the video. So today we're going to be talking about how they could possibly bring the Walking Dead Telltale series back. So the first thing we're going to get into is how we could possibly see Clementine again. I've heard a lot of people say that, it'd be hard to bring back Clementine because of her leg. But in the Walking Dead show, Herschel got his leg cut off, and he did just fine, and he got a prosthetic leg. Also, Clementine really only had below the knee cut off, and your foot is mainly, for keeping balance, and most of your power in your leg comes from your upper part of your leg. I've also heard a lot of people say that it's hard to get a prosthetic leg in a zombie apocalypse. To that I say, Clementine only needs a replacement. That can help her keep her balance. There are many options for a makeshift prosthetic leg. Personally, I want new characters instead of bringing back Clementine. Obviously, I don't want them to forget about Clementine and, leave her in the dust, but they need to stop focusing the whole series on her. Clementine's become the idol of the Walking Dead games, and it worked fine for the first 4 seasons. But with, A New Frontier in the final season, it just made me, not really like the other characters. It was harder to care about certain characters if they didn't have an impact on Clementine. Obviously, I like the idolization of Clementine because she was the main character of the story, but we need a new story with new characters, and they have to be well thought out, interesting characters. And in A New Frontier in the final season, it just felt like they were really trying to force us to like some of the characters, and that really broke some of the immersion. So they have to get us warmed up to the new characters by making them go through interesting and emotion-filled situations without forcing us to feel a certain way about the characters. The first game did this absolutely perfectly because whenever I liked a character, I could show it through what Lee said, and does, instead of Clementine liking a character I didn't like. I didn't like Violet in the final season, but for some reason Clementine and her stayed friends, just despite me being as mean as possible to her. That's just an example, but the final season was full of trying to make her feel a certain way towards a character. The first season, if I didn't like a character, I could show it through Lee, because I feel like Lee didn't really, he didn't have a certain view on most characters, so, what you said was how he felt about a character, if you understand anyway. But, it really got on my nerves just how much they tried to force me to feel about characters in the final season of New Frontier. Another thing is that they have to have an interesting backstory for the characters, but they can't force us to learn about their backstories through flashbacks and stuff like New Frontier did. Personally, I would want it to come out within bits and pieces through dialogue over time, but we also don't need to know everything about the character. You cannot explain to me what Kenny's home life was like. All you can do is tell me that he had a kid and a wife, You can't really tell me much more. And he was still one of the best characters. Because that's all you really need to know about a character. In New Frontier, in the final season, they kept on forcing you to try to learn the whole life story of a character, and it was really, really annoying. All they need to do is give us a brief idea of what their life was before, through time, just how they changed through, the apocalypse or whatever. Also, when I say they need new characters, it doesn't mean scrap all the old characters, They could possibly let us play as a character that, we didn't know very well in the first 4 seasons. Preferably Krista or maybe Kenny, if they could find a way to bring him back, obviously. Also, I would like to see Clementine again, maybe in the second game near the end, when we're all warmed up to new characters and stuff. Those are just some ideas, but now we can get into the story. So, for them to make a new story, there obviously is going to need to have new characters and locations. They also cannot reuse the caretaker role like in the first and last game. It might become repetitive, and personally it would make me a little bit annoyed. Like I said before, maybe we can play as Krista, and she had her child, which could bring back, the caretaker role, just as long as they can find a good way to do it and don't repeat the same things from the first season. They also need new concepts for story ideas. Like, first game was all about finding a boat, and the character story was all about, keeping Clementine safe. They have to come up with new general concept and character story concepts. I hope that makes sense. But no, let's get into some possible locations. So the Walking Dead VR game Saints and Sinners was set in New Orleans, and maybe if they want to somehow incorporate that world into, the Telltale world, the game could be set in Louisiana maybe, or maybe somewhere in the north, like Montana or New Jersey. They could also go to a new continent, but I feel like that wouldn't, work too well, because it would kind of kill all the possibilities of seeing some of the old characters. But those are just some ideas. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. If you have any questions, email me. My email will be in the description, as well as in my channel description. Alright, goodbye.